Welcome to the second video of the Support for Kids at Risk program, also known as S.K.A.R. My name is William Garcia. I am the Assistant Director of the Hispanic Americans for Progress Incorporation. Today you will hear from members of this program who will address topics requested by the viewers of the first video. Topics will be based on their court experiences, life in prison, parents doing time, and last but certainly not least, victims and their families. Some of the men that you will meet here today have been in prison for 15 plus years. Some have been in prison since the age of 17. These are many years with many regrets and ifs. Some of us will never go home. Some of us will, but not for a long time. It is a predicament filled with much suffering on our families, the victims and their families, and us as well. So if you think that crime just affects us, you cannot be further from the truth. There are many other people affected as well. One thing that's important, I want you guys that are going to see this video to know, is that the S.K.A.R members don't want you to feel sorry for them. We don't want you to be scared. We're here to educate, inform, and warn you of what your life can become with one wrong decision. So I'm going to ask, please listen carefully. Your future might depend on it.
My name is S.K.A.R. I'm 30 years old. I'm doing 30 to life for a first-degree murder.
My name is Jason Jimenez. I'm serving a 30-year sentence, and I've been in this prison since 1985.
My name is Angel Colon. I'm 28 years old. I'm facing 50 years with a 30-year sentence. I've been incarcerated 9.5 years.
My name is Louis Beltran. I am 24 years old. I was arrested when I was 16. I won't see parole till I'm 77, and I probably won't even make that.
My name is Antoine Henshaw. I'm incarcerated for 14 years. I'm serving a sentence of 30 life for murder.
My name is Robert Ormore. I'm serving a life sentence with a minimum of 30 years. I've been locked up since 1986.
Marco Diaz. I was arrested when I was 16. I'm 21 now. I'm serving life.
My name is John DiLovetto. I'm 23 years old. I'm serving a 95-year sentence with 80 years before.
My name is Eric Daniels. I was convicted of aggravated murder and serving life without the possibility of parole. I've been incarcerated for 13 years.
My name is Robert Livingston. I was convicted of manslaughter. I've been incarcerated for 4 years.
My name is Jesus Sanabria, known here as New York. I've been incarcerated now for 19 years. I'm doing a 30-30 sentence for murder.
My name is Leah Cooper. I'm an advisor to Hispanic Americans for Progress.
How many first-time offenders do we have? Okay. A lot of us were under the misconception that for our first-time offense, that when we receive a slap on the wrist, we probably do a little time and we go home. Well, as you've seen from the hands that was raised, that's a total misconception. I've never received any charges as a juvenile or as an adult. This is my first adult charge. I'm in prison for the rest of my life.
Well, at first, I got convicted when I was 16, and I got sent to juvenile hall. During juvenile hall, I went to court 2 or 3 times. The last time was to get waived into adult. Initially, I wanted to fight that, but my lawyer told me, listen, if we fight this, we're gonna show your family the pictures of the crime scene and everything. And it was a terrible crime. I know what was there. It was hard enough for me to admit what I did, let alone show my family.
Murder is hard to beat, or you can beat a murder easily because they need the weapon. That's not true. They didn't find a weapon in my case, and here I am serving 30 years.
How was your juvenile experience being raised up in New York?
Well, it was hard because when I got locked up the first time I was 16. And I thought, like, when I'm 16, I can go home. First time I went to court, I thought the same thing, I go home. But I went to court, nothing happened. Next time, I went back to court. Same thing happened. When the third time went, I was like, I ain't going nowhere. Then when everything came down to me, I'm like, your own life. Then
My victim's brother looked almost identical to my victim, and it was a very eerie feeling. You know, they were almost twins. And I wanted to go over and say something to him, but I couldn't, because here I am fighting for my life, and it's not, the defendant can't go and speak to, you know, the state's side. So my attorney had asked me if there was anything I wanted to say to the victim. So I had told him, yeah, you know, please tell him that, you know, my fight wasn't with them, it was with my victim. And it was the first time in my life that I had, or the first time in that whole trial process that I had actually considered what his family was going through, what they must have been, what they've lost, what they suffered. And that's where I make a statement at the very end of the case, before the jury goes in to decide whether I will live or die. And I spoke to the jury directly, but I also spoke to the victim's family. And it was the first time that I really began to, the reality sunk in, and I began to consider that this was a man who had children, and now his children would grow up fatherless. This was a family that had lost a brother, and they had lost a sister. And they had spoken their victim's impact statement, which is a statement they made to the court in explaining how my crime has affected them. And they had a sister who had been murdered 10 years previously, and she had never been, the perpetrator of the crime had never been caught. And so basically what they were trying to say was, they had me, I did this crime, so they wanted punishment. They wanted justice to be done. And it broke me down.
A young child, a young kid today, young adults, you think you can do things with no repercussion, that you can just go do something for 60 days, 90 days and get out. I hear so many young kids saying, well, I can do this and be home in a year. But today it's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen that way. The law has to get more educated.
It's like you said, now we have the 85%. That's why so many first offenders here. What is it? 85%. One crime, one mistake, hanging out with the wrong person. You're going to be doing 5, 10 years still. 85%. I ain't doing nothing. I was just walking with Tony. He's co-defendant. We got one guy, one murder. We got 5 people that are doing 30 to life. One murder. 5 people are doing 30 to life for that murder in here.
When I was going to trial, somebody in the victim's family, it was a young girl. She used to, I used to hear comments from her like, man, he's so young, he couldn't have done this. And basically through my trial, that's all I heard. All I heard was her voice. Coming in here, like I said before, I didn't even want to acknowledge the fact that I did do that. So I didn't want to think about the victims or nothing. It took me like 2 years to go back to my papers and then my transcripts, which is everything that's said in court. They type it up and they give you a copy. I went through there and I read who these people were and what they did.
Also deal with your family, their victim. How do you deal with that?
Well, my family's, I kind of destroyed my family. My brother, who used to me in my eyes, he was sort of like a wimp. He flipped. He turned even worse than me. Now I see my mom coming to visit. It's hard to look at her. It's like she's destroyed. And I know if I wasn't I was the biggest. It's no doubt about it. I caused most of that pain. And I feel like, sometimes I feel like almost like dirty, man. It's hard.
I heard my family, I heard the victim and his family, and it seemed like I heard a whole lot of people. I affected a lot of people with what I did. Because when I was all going through trial, I used to get looks from the family, and I could tell that they were hurt and they were mad at me. And I knew the guy in his family, and I used to look back at my family, and you could see it like in my mother's eyes, like, damn, man, I'm her only son. She looking at me, facing all this time, And like, I'll never forget this, like when I went to get sentenced. When the judge said 30 years before you're eligible for parole, it was like, and I look back at the guy family, at the victim's family, it's like they were happy. They was clapping, cheering as they were taking me out. And I look at my family now, like as far as my son, my mother, my son's mother, and every time my mother comes see me, and we out there visit, I can look into her eyes and tell that she's really hurt. And she tried to do things or say things to keep me strong and, to make me laugh, but I can really look at her and tell she's hurt. She always said, Rashawn, just be strong, take care of yourself. And I can't do nothing for her or nothing for my son or his mother, and it really hurts me. It really, really hurts me. And it feels like I failed them. I'm no good to him in here. And it's a hard thing.
I knew the victim's family. I grew up with the victim's father. It was hard to try to separate the two. I knew he had a loss, and I felt the pain. I felt the pain each day of his son being killed. I wanted to go to the family so much. I wanted to go to him and just cry with him. I wanted to just sit with him and tell him how sorry I was. I was faced with a system that was telling me to prepare to defend myself, saying, well, it was this, and everything in me, from what I was raised and how I was brought up, said that to take anyone's life is wrong.
Prison, good for tell what to do every day for $1.35 a day. See, that's prison life. That's what people want to give up. So it's kind of like that we live in here. We got to go through all this pain, everything going. I live in Fallwood. I don't know if y'all know what Fallwood is. It's a two-man cell. And you have to be in that unit to hear the screaming that come out that cell at night. You don't know what's going on, you don't know who's screaming, you know who's in pain. All you hear is noise every night. That's all you hear every night. Somebody screaming.
This one particular night, I was sound asleep, and I was awoken by this loud shriek. I didn't know where it was coming from. All I know was it was just like, it sounded like somebody was dying and somebody was killing somebody. And the noises, I mean, I can still remember them, I can hear them clearly in my mind as I'm speaking. And it hurt me so bad that I didn't know who it was or what was going on. And the cries of this person for help, it really just did something to me inside. And later on, the next day, come to find out the person was being raped. And at that point, it was like a decision in my life to say, yo, this prison life is real, it's hard. There's nothing to where you can take anything for granted. Anything can happen at any time. It's not nothing you can prepare yourself for.
Belson, you're one of the youngest ones in here when you first came in. Can you talk about the fact that you didn't have a chance to have a family?
It's kind of hard for me because I got locked up when I was 16. I didn't have a chance to have a family. I didn't have a chance to have kids. I will never have kids either. I will never have a wife. I will never own a home, car, none of that stuff. Me too. I sit here and think day after day. It bothers me. I make up names. Maria Angelica, Damien Isaiah, for kids that I would have had.
The one subject we didn't get to and we want to touch upon is the young women out there who get sucked into the gangs and what happens to them and what can happen to them. So can we go into that?
Sure. They're the women who hang around with the young girls, who hang around with gangs, and who associate with guys that are criminals. Those women are referred as hood rats. That's what they're called behind their back. Maybe not to the face, but they're called hood rats. And those women are used for sexual exploitation, manipulation, to commit crimes, to support those guys that are saying that they love them's drug habits, and you know, and so don't think that that person who tells you that he loves you and that he cares for you and he's going to provide for you does, because he's using you.
It's a state prison for men, but there is a section in here for women, lockup section. You have nothing down there. You have 48 women down there, and there's lockup. And they come from various areas and various lifestyles and everything. And when they come in there, and when you see them coming through here getting visits, because the only thing they get is window visits. It's the majority of the time their family. None of these guys come up here to see them.
If you run in the set, you can't have a lot of things on you. And if you don't have guys around you that can do it, and there's females around, you get the females to hold the drugs, you get the females to hold the gun. And this last decade, in the 90s, females have increased in prison populations astronomically. And you know, and it's all been on because I love this guy, he told me to hold this for him, and I didn't know this was going down.
They got him in.
And we've got a whole bunch of them here. And it happens, it's just, maybe you might give it to him 5 minutes. Say, hold this for me for 5 minutes. And the boys come rolling around the corner. She gonna do that bid. You know, it's nothing I could come and say, oh, she was holding that for me. That just makes it part of the conspiracy. We both go. You know, so 9 times out of 10, the guy's gonna say, well, hey, you got to wear that. And you know, it's harder on women because, you know, our visiting halls, when you come to men's prison, you see them filled with women. But when you go to a woman's prison, you see them filled with women. You don't see the same thing. Men are not going to see women in prison.
I should let women know that when a guy asks you to be involved with his crime and bring you around the drugs and the environment which he's in, that's not love. You have to have a better understanding of what's love. Love is when you want to take care of someone. You want to keep them out of trouble. You don't ask someone that you love to be involved with trouble. There's 2 types of girls. There's girls that guys would do anything with, and there's a set of girls that guys take home to their parents. Trust me, if you out there on the streets, he's not taking you home to his parents.
I just want my sisters to know that, yo, these cats ain't, they're not what they cracked up to be. I'm one of them cats. I know. I'm out there with them. You know, I'm surrounded by them all day. I hear the games, I hear everything. And even when I was on the streets, you know, you got your chicks you take to the moat, and like you said, the chicks you take home. You know, and it's up to you to decide what type of female you want to be. You know, and guys can only do what you let them do. And you have to take that initiative. And I make sure, to this day, most of my sisters are grown, to this day, that they don't let any man take advantage of them.
Right now, you still have choices, you know, and like you heard earlier, one choice, one bad decision can get you, ruin the rest of your life, you know. You don't listen to your parents, you know, they tell you to do this, tell you to do that. That's your mother and your brother, your father, your sister, that's your blood. You always know that they got your best interests at heart.
And being a part of this program here, I'm trying to give back, per se, to my children and to other children. I'm constantly reminded about my victim. He was a young man. And it's a misconception that, you know, that fast money in the streets is good money. But it's not, because it's going to all wind up here. And trust me, you can't do anything with it in this place here.
You know, don't no man, no human being like to be told what to do, when to do it, and don't no human being like another man fisting him, patting him down like when we first did the video, when we first came in. That's 4 or 5 times a day, you know, and that's aggravating. And if you say something to them, you're wrong. You know, even though you're right, you know, sometimes you're wrong in here. There's no right in being incarcerated in prison.
You subject yourself to this type of lifestyle by continuing to go down the path that you're on now. This is what your life will become. You are essentially taking your right to be with your loved ones, touch and hold and hug your loved ones is essentially taken away. You can't do that through this. This is glass, 4 inches thick. This is the closest I will come to my loved one.
As you can see, this is what they call the mess hall here at New Jersey State Prison. This is a place where you come in the morning to eat. And believe me, when you come in here, you see all kinds of things. You won't be sitting around with people who will brush their teeth, people who will take a shower. And you don't know if it might be your last meal now. You come in here, hoping to get a meal, go back into that cell. As you see, there's no police in here. All they have is cages. That's where they be at. And this is the way we eat. Anything y'all want to put in this?
As we sit here, as a group of 4, you don't have nothing behind you. You can't see anything behind you. Anyone can come up behind you at any given time.
You could hardly eat in peace because, like he just said, anybody could come from behind them. So I'm sitting across from him. While I'm eating, I also at the same time got to be aware of everything that's happening around me.
Mess hall can fill up with 350 to 400 prisoners. When you get down here, you stand in line. The line goes as far as the gate when you first walk in. Sometimes you have to wait 15, 20 minutes just to get your food. And then you have another 10 minutes to eat it. You have to be out of here within a half hour of leaving your unit. This institution is made up of a very diverse group of individuals. Imagine coming in an area of the prison like this at 6:30 in the morning where you don't want to be bothered. Last thing you want to do is joke around, and you have a guy that's joking, sitting at the same table you are, joking around, and you're not in the mood for that. That's just one of the things you have to deal with every day in prison.
Before you get out of here, you all will be in that cage at least about 5 minutes. Anybody can do anything to you. They have the opportunity and they have the positioning to do anything they want to. This is not the place to be.
First man in.
Officer D.D. Lewis, contact 249. Officer D.D. Lewis, 249.
And all we get is 1 hour. 1 hour recreation, as you can see. Basketball, pull-up ball. That's all you get. You get 1 hour out here, rain, shine, snow. If you don't come out, you don't get no yard. You stay 23 hours locked in. This is what the yard is about. This is our recreation area right now. As you see, you can come in the yard with anyone. They throw you out here.
Not only that, but once you out here, you stuck out here. You don't go in when you want.
What's up? My name is Ben. All right, great. As one of the members said before, he said, you go up to the yard, you don't go in whenever you want. So you're out here for an hour. If you have to use the bathroom, this is where you use it. No privacy. You gotta ask the officer to use it. It's wide open.
This is your cell. You see the spacing we have. This is the 2 beds for me and him to serve together.
Look how big he is. He takes up almost half the room. And I got a lock with this person who I never met before in my life. We don't know each other's background or anything. You know what I mean? This is something new and you're forced to lock with somebody else. There's no privacy, as you can see. Look through the bars, you can plainly see me. Every morning when I come up to brush my teeth, without a little brush like this to brush my teeth. Look, I gotta stick my fingers in my mouth to get the back of my teeth. Anybody can come and look. Our toilet is there. This cell is so small you can't even see it because our sink blocks the whole toilet.
This is where we at for most of all the day. Outside of an hour with meals, an hour and a half recreation. We're in here all day long. This here is the life that you choose when you do the things that you do on the streets.
Just saw today, we gave you a glimpse and different thoughts and ideas about living here in New Jersey State Prison. What I would say to all the youths out there, or whomever thinking about doing something wrong, education. The education of life.
Well, as you saw today, we're here without any family. Too many of us don't have nothing. So if you're out there doing wrong, think about it. If you're taking your family for granted, think about it. If you love your family, make sure you make all the right decisions so you can keep your family.
You have the chance out there to do things, many different things. Use this time, think, enhance what you have heard, and listen to what you've been told.
For all you young ones out there, that it's okay if you don't know who you are. You're not supposed to know who you are this early in life. So don't try to figure out everything on your own. Don't be afraid to go out there to ask, but find somebody. Find somebody that's close to you and you know in your heart that your future is important to them as well.
Once again, I'm facing 50 years with a 30-year stipulation. There's 365 days in a year. You multiply that by 30 years. That's 10,950 days. Ask yourself, is your life really worth that much? This is reality. There's no escape.
Did you listen? Did you listen carefully? Take our life experiences to heart. Use our past mistakes as a guide. We don't want to see you destroy your lives. And we definitely don't want to see you walk in these hallways. Future. But maybe you know of a brother, or a sister, or a friend who's heading in this direction. Let them know about us. I think we can all make a difference. By the way, I am serving a double life sentence for murder. That is 60 years to life. I will not see a parole board until I serve a minimum of 60 years. This is what the fast life of drugs and alcohol got me. Believe me, you don't want to know what that feels like. You don't want to know what prison feels like, period. Live your lives free. I took many things for granted, and freedom was one.
I'm in here 2 to 3 times a week, and I want to tell you, I'm the only lucky one here, because I can walk out. You can believe and take to heart everything you heard and you saw on this video.